mdInfinity Desktop is desktop software for data processing. Currently, it focuses on the LiDAR processing, including Boresight Calibration, trajectory processing, and Pointcloud Colorization and Georeferencing. The main difference between mdInfinity Cloud and mdInfinity Desktop is the cloud-based nature of the former. So, the user will upload his data and get the result directly in his user account. In the desktop version, all the data will stay on the user's desktop. It requires one license for the software, while mdInfinity Cloud allows the user to pay per project. So, with the mdInfinity Cloud software, users can decide to process data for one project and pay with tokens. For example, if the user has only a few projects per year that require Boresight Calibration, it might be useful to use the cloud version and pay per individual project. However, if the user has a lot of data to process, they can either use the cloud or the desktop version. For mdInfinity Desktop, the first module we'll look at is Boresight Calibration. Boresight Calibration is used to calibrate your LiDAR payload. When you receive your microdrone's payload for the first time, it's already calibrated, and you receive a calibration report with those values. But you can decide for any reason to recalibrate your payload. First, in the settings, you'll need to select your product. I will select the MD LiDAR 3000DL. I can change the number of criteria. Here I will keep 40. That's a parameter used by the algorithm, but you can keep it as 40. Here, I'll add my LiDAR raw file, the RXP from my MD LiDAR 3000DL. I also have my trajectory file, which I could have processed in mdInfinity Cloud previously using the trajectory processing module. When all my input files are there, I click Process. Once the processing is done, I have a status here, and I have the 3 Boresight angles that I was looking for on the bottom of the screen. The green status indicator for accuracy tells me the results are good. Let's move on to georeferencing. So I'm going to georeferencing here, the second module. I can select my payload, and I'll choose the MD LiDAR 3000DL. Here, I can enter my Boresight angles. I will also input my RXP files, or my raw data files. I have here my trajectory file that was automatically inputted from my folder, and it's also the result of the trajectory processing module from mdInfinity Cloud. So here I have all my inputs. For my outputs, I will select my destination folder. I can select my field of view. So here, it's a mini Vux DL. I'll keep it as the 46, have no latency, and I will select last file. Before processing, I will review all the parameters that I inputted here on the left of the screen. Then, I will process. When my processing is done, I have all my last files that were created. If I want to change settings, I can click on Change Settings to reprocess. Then I can go back to the previous page. Let's finish up with the last module, Precision Enhancement. Again, I will select my product, MD LiDAR 3000DL. I'll add the last file, which the Precision Enhancement tool will use as the input, not the raw data RXP file like the georeferencing. Here in the output, I will select my parameters. I can either decide to move or suppress the point when I'm doing the precision enhancement. I can also decide the radius that I want to use. I'll keep it as default. You can always find a small explanation of the parameter if you click on the small info icon. If you select Suppress Point, you will have one more parameter. You can decide to merge all the input files before you do the denoising. You can also remove the isolate point. If you have many last files, you can decide to merge all of them and export only one file. You also have some advanced parameters here, and one more if you select the Remove Isolate point. Again, for each of them, if you click on the info icon, you will have a definition of the parameter and how to use it. When you are happy with your parameters before processing, review all the parameters that you've inputted. If you're happy with it, you can process. When the processing is done, you have a new last file process. For each one that you input, you have one with a small output. Again, you can see where it is in your computer. If you want to reprocess the same file but change the settings, you can always click on Change Setting to reprocess. That's it!